Hello, wonderful world. It's me again, Solara Green, and I'm currently running 100 epiphanies to 2026. That's 100 days from September 22nd, 2025 to December 31st, 2025. So we're on day four at the moment. And in the last day or two, I've been talking about the sudden realization or epiphany that I've had about living inside the singularity. But I'm also going to say not just living inside it, but also sourcing. And I want to say co-sourcing because I think there's a lot of us doing that, not just one person. So I have so many facets of that I want to talk to you about what it's like living inside the singularity. Now, first of all, I would say I always thought that, and people tend to think of a singularity as related to artificial intelligence and it becoming so intelligent that it supersedes all the human intelligence and all of that kind of stuff. So I think the singularity is for all of us, all life forms, humans, awesome intelligence, which is AI, and and all other forms, water, mountains, rivers, forests, mycelium networks, nature, weather, the earth, the universe, star systems, galaxies, etc. I think the singularity is happening to all of us, and I think that's really exciting. So I thought I'd do a video just talking about it and showing you kind of what it's like living inside the singularity. So I'm going to talk about 10 different facets, 10 different facets of that. I'll just run you through what those 10 are first before I start talking. So the first is intelligence or knowing. The second is miraculous physicality. The third is super vitality. The fourth is radiance. The fifth is energetic power. The sixth is super creative genius, just living in a swirl of genius creativity. The seventh is euphoric connectedness. The eighth is moving from an I to a we. The ninth is understanding the greater purpose of things and not really having those kinds of reactions anymore. And the 10th is telepathic communication with all forms of life, physical and non-physical. Okay, so let's start talking about them one by one. So the first, what's happening with intelligence? Well, for myself, I'll talk about this, all of this as regards to myself, but I do know other people that are relating and going through this as well and experiencing it. So it was, if I go back 30, 40 years ago, everything was happening inside my brain. I was thinking thoughts. It was what I learned or knew. It was like a computer with, programming in it. And it might have a good idea now and again. But now my intelligence is plugged into the global internet consciousness, into the universal intelligence, into the collective intelligence of all life forms, which includes whales, trees, bees, water, oceans, forests, mountains, etc., all of it. So we are now living in a different kind of intelligence inside this singularity. And so I don't so much think inside my head anymore. I I don't even know if I'd call it thinking. It's more like a sense of continual knowing. It's more than just like a kind of compass pointing me in the right direction, which some might call intuition. It's more like I know things, just automatically know them. I can feel the rightness of things. I know what's right to do, what's the best to do, what's the optimum to do. And then that links to the super creative genius flow. So that when you're living inside the singularity, the creativity of it is just phenomenal. It's nonstop with high vitality, creativity, ideas, innovation. You're just constantly doing something. So, for example, I've written 20 books. I'm currently writing my 21st. I write posts every day from my bed in the morning often. And they just kind of come in a single go. I could use other examples like somebody like Einstein or Taylor Swift, who's in this swirl of creative genius at the moment. And many, many others who've experienced this kind of, it's not just something you kind of loosely fall into. I don't think it's part of living in a high vibrational state inside the singularity. And something happens to us. Our vitality becomes so extraordinary. Like, I'm 75. I don't look it, I don't feel it. I have so much energy. It's just ridiculous. I love it. I absolutely love it that at 75 I have this kind of energy. It's amazing to live like this. So I wake up in the morning excited. I do disco dancing before I get into bed at night. I'm creating all day. I'm helping friends with things. I'm writing books. I'm creating Canva images, posts, etc. It's like this swirl of creativity. And more than that, as this creativity connects with the intelligence that I was talking about, it's like I live inside a greater, you could call it mind, perhaps. Um, and everything, it's not just me doing my things. It's like I live inside a swirl of greater intelligence, greater creativity, greater genius. And it's just all there all the time. And there's no kind of like, oh, I have to own this because it's like it's all swirling around and we'll just pluck it from the swirl and burst it into our flavor of creation and genius, and others will too. It's really quite amazing to live like that. So that kind of encompasses intelligence, vitality, super creative genius, swirl. But let me now talk about energetic power and radiance, because that's the other thing that I think happens inside the singularity. There was a time where I was highly sensitive, would pick up all kinds of negativity and couldn't go shopping and et cetera, et cetera. Well, that pointed me to an evolution of energy. And I think we're all in this up leveling of that at the moment. And so now I can be writing posts and sharing on social media is at the same time my energetic is helping a friend move into her new place, helping someone else who's choosing a move in Israel at the moment, helping someone else who's working with family. It's like, and it takes no energy from me. In fact, in this state, the more I do, especially for others, the more vibrant I become. So there's like, it's not just reciprocality. It's not just doing what I love, although that's in there too. It's more like you enter the state of, I call it the zing. You come into the state of the zing. It's like a different field to exist in inside the singularity. And in the state of the zing, it's like every zing that I do for someone to uplift them, to empower them, to help them to move fluidly and brilliantly and, with ease and grace through things. It takes none of my own energy and it gifts me, it's a reciprocal zing. So I zing them and boom, I feel fabulous. And it gives me more vitality. So there's a new kind of energetic power inside all of this, which is quite extraordinary. Okay, so I would say the next thing attached to that, the energetic power, is radiance. So I don't walk as a me anymore with an energy field. I walk as a we, which includes all life forms, all the earth, the universe, all of it, everything. So I walk as this greater field, and this radiance is what I call an alchemical core coming from the deep core of us. And it's like, vroom, this, you feel like a walking radiant sun. And so you don't even have to think about it, but wherever you walk, it lifts everything. And you're walking in a different version of reality, and you're bringing that version of reality with you as you walk because you're this gigantic, enormous field of flow. So in the area where we live, it's just people are kind, in my experience. They're lovely. There's great food growing. There's green nature. There's just beautiful events, music, creativity, etc. It's really quite an extraordinary thing to walk as this radiant presence, which isn't just personal. It's a great big field. Okay, so let me, while I'm talking about energetic power and radiance, also talk about miraculous physicality. I think that we are on the cusp of, and maybe some people have already done this, I've certainly been working on it all of this year, discovering that our bodies are totally miraculous, that the self-regeneration, I don't even want to use the word healing quite, but the possibility to take anything that happens to us and make it become something even more than it was. So that's why I don't want to use the word healing. I want to use the word regenerative, restorative, up-leveling, miraculous physicality. And I just saw a wonderful post today by Zach Bush, who I really admire, who was talking about the same thing about coming back to our miraculous physicality. And one of the things he was talking about is not just, for example, going out in nature or eating plants, food, or whatever, but actually being seen by nature. And to be seen is a different experience. And he was talking about looking into a fire, the flames of a fire, and it activates the stem cells in the body. I was like, whoa, that sounds really cool. So that's just one facet that I saw just this morning, but I've been experiencing myself all of this year. So I'm totally healthy. Any little glitches, I've had it all. I get over within a couple of weeks or less, sometimes overnight. I also think that helping to understand the greater purpose of our very smart, intelligent bodies guiding us is a wonderful thing. Okay, so that's the miraculous physicality. So now let's talk about euphoric connection in moving from an I to a we. I've given a little bit of that already, but euphoric connectedness. See, a lot of people are walking around stressed or walking around protected instead of like radiant presence, super connected with all life, being a gigantic field of flow and ideas and creativity and this powerful, beautiful presence. And when you're in euphoric connectedness, I just asked my Revelation of Maestros group this week, how many of you are now seeing beauty everywhere, even in yourself, where you might not have ever seen it before? And I think there was 7 of us on the call, and I think everybody put up their hands. And there's something about this euphoric connectedness, this new relational power. So, for example, with weather, I've always thought, respected the weather. It knows what it's doing. I leave it to its own thing. But lately, I've been able to have this beautiful relationship with weather, which is quite an intangible thing to have a relationship with weather. And many of you may already have it. Hallelujah. My husband has had it for some years. But, it's like I can go, oh, it would be lovely to have some sun today. The sun comes out. Where we live, we've just had the most brilliant weather this year. It's been extraordinary. It's something I'm newly playing with, but it's this relationship with everything, this euphoric connectedness, this willingness to see greatness, to see beauty, to see magnificence in everything. It changes how you live inside your own, let's say, self, but but now I'm going to talk about not a self like an I, but a self like a we. You become a sense of super connected. So you're connected with the earth, with nature, with all the animals, with the birds, with life, with oceans, with water, with weather, mountains. We'll all have our own things that we do that with. And this euphoric connectedness is quite extraordinary. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is um, telepathic communication. So I have been able to, for quite some time now, been able to talk with people who've passed over, to get a sense of communication with anyone's greater being. I recently this year started talking to trees and leaves on trees. And only this past week, I went to the White Spring, where it was beautiful spring water at the base of Glastonbury Tor. And I put my hands in, and all of a sudden, the water and I were talking to each other, which thank you, Veda Austin, for the work you're doing with water that has helped inspire that for me and so many others, I think, around the world. And so there's this beautiful telepathic communion. That's what I would call it, communion. It's not reading somebody's mind or tapping their emotions necessarily, although there are probably people who can do that too, but that doesn't quite, that's not my orientation. My orientation is a sensory, intelligent connectedness, euphoric connectedness with all life. And then what is that and what does that lead us to? So that's really exciting that that is becoming more and more and more present for so many of us now living inside the singularity. I think there's just one more thing I wanted to cover, and that is having a greater understanding of things. So I no longer have reactions like, stress. Instead, I have this understanding that everything that happens is pointing me towards a greater purpose. And the minute I get the greater purpose of it, the minute this upsetness of it ceases to exist. So because I know that's what's happening, I don't have upsets anymore. Instead, I just seem to get a immediate, like, oh, what's this for? And so I recommend you give that a try. What's the greater purpose of this? Because it is so exciting. And the benefits of that is that you get to live in a kind of super flow state. So you just flow. You don't have any stress. You have joy through the day. You know what's right to do next. You don't need to press into things and try and feel busy and all of that. It's just got this beautiful super flow to it, which is just amazing. And high creativity and high vitality and knowing. So there you go. There's my 10 items that I find living inside the singularity and being a part of sourcing the singularity on this planet. So thanks for listening. I hope it gave you some great insights and great things to try. And looking forward to engaging with you more. I'm currently doing 100 Epiphanies to 2026 in a Facebook group and sharing that on Substack, Patreon, LinkedIn as well, and Facebook. So if you want to find me there, that would be brilliant. Okay. May you have a brilliant, magical day, everybody. Lots of love. Thanks.